Dear Taurus, the time has come to stop carrying the weight. You have stood strong for far too long. Hidden behind the walls of strength and stability you've built yourself. But now, destiny is here to collect what is rightfully yours. You can no longer cling to what is old. This moment isn't about loss. It's about reclaiming the ground so you can build anew everything your soul has been longing for. Welcome to your journey, a path that only you, dear Taurus, were chosen to walk. To truly grasp what awaits you, we must first revisit the beginning, the moment you lost touch with your own inner softness. Let's dive into the first chapter, the invisible burden you carry. For how many years have you endured a weight no one else could see? How often did you wear a mask of calm to maintain stability while your heart was shouldering the world? You are not an ordinary soul. Taurus, you possess an extraordinary capacity for endurance, a strength that others can only admire from afar. But this gift comes with a price, as you find yourself quietly eroding, like a sturdy rock worn down from within. Only you can feel the cracks slowly forming in your spirit. You once dreamed of a peaceful life, a world where your hard work would be justly rewarded, a place where no one would call you stubborn or materialistic. You hoped that your loyalty, reliability, and steadfast nature would shield you from chaos. Yet, you entered a world that often feels too volatile for a heart that craves security. The first wound didn't come from betrayal. It came from being taken for granted. The deepest hurt isn't from others, but from doubting your own worth when you could no longer carry it all. There exists a nameless pain, one that whispers, "Maybe I'm not allowed to be weak." You tried to be stronger, more dependable, molding yourself into a pillar for everyone else, all to avoid the feeling of instability. But the harder you tried, the more lost you became. Each act of shouldering more took you further away from who you truly are, until one fateful day, you gazed into the mirror and barely recognized the exhausted reflection staring back. You don't fear loneliness, Taurus, you fear loss. You've remained silent in the face of injustice because deep down, you believed everything would be okay if you just kept trying. But in doing so, you forgot that you too deserve rest and love. You forgave others, but struggled to forgive yourself for letting things get out of control, for trusting the wrong people, for hoping too much for stability. You learned to be a rock for everyone but yourself. As the world falls asleep each night, you lie awake. That's when your soul rises, filled with all the worries left unspoken, all the cracks that never had a chance to heal. You once believed that silence would make things easier, but instead, it morphed into a numbness that settled in your heart. You're exhausted, aren't you? Not from weakness, but from being strong for far too long, silently bearing the weight of family, love, and the expectations of others. Have you ever asked yourself, who carries me? Perhaps you've become so accustomed to holding everything up that no one even notices your struggle. So, you began to create distance, not because you don't need anyone, but because you fear the pain of being let down again. You stopped sharing, stopped confiding, stopped opening up, not from coldness, but because too many times you've offered your trust only to see it broken. You don't need someone to solve your problems. You simply need someone who will stay and allow you to be vulnerable without judgment. If your heart tightens as you read these words, that's your sign. The universe is calling you to awaken. This is the moment when everything you've tried to suppress will rise to the surface, not to expose you, but to liberate you. You don't need to pretend anymore. You don't need to act like you're okay when you're crumbling inside. Destiny is here to collect, and this time, it's here to love you, not to punish you. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, and ask yourself, how long have I forgotten to take care of myself? If the answer brings tears to your eyes, let them flow. That tear is the first drop to reach the root of your exhaustion. Write this down. I am ready to face it. I will not run. I remember who I am. Your comment is the birth cry of a new journey. You, Taurus, are not alone. You are the first in your lineage to choose healing over hardship. This is your moment. You cannot hide any longer. Once your soul awakens, a storm will follow, not to drown you, but to cleanse you. You've prayed for peace, but true peace often follows a storm. You've always chosen patience, not from weakness, but because you believe in the enduring power of time. You've seen the fear hidden beneath the hurtful actions of others, and you've let it go. But remember, endurance doesn't mean forgetting, and silence isn't healing. Have you ever pretended the past was behind you, even as your heart ached with old memories? Have you ever smiled just to avoid the question, are you okay? You've tried to heal by burying what needed to be seen. And that's where karma begins, not as punishment, but as unresolved energy. The universe, in its infinite love, has prepared a moment for you to face everything you once denied, not to punish you, but to release you. A new order is dawning. Uranus, the planet of sudden change, is transiting your sign, shaking the very foundations you thought were unshakable. The universe is whispering. It's time to let go of control. You may see old faces return. Situations you thought long buried will reawaken, triggered by a word, an event, or an unexpected shift. And this time, you won't collapse. You will stand tall because you're aware enough to see that everything happening isn't meant to bury you. It's meant to lift you. Destiny comes to collect, not to end you, but to begin anew through you. You were once left behind, but you are not the same. You were once a victim, but now you know exactly where you belong. You will lose nothing more. Instead, you will reclaim what you once let slip away, the truth. The truth is that you were strong enough to keep walking when others would have crumbled. The truth is that you were never weak. You were simply brave in your silence. The truth is that you have grown from your own burdens. You can't hide any longer, Taurus, but you can rise. This is your calling. This is your moment. This is your return. If any part of you trembles, it's because your soul feels the pull of old karma. Write this down. I no longer run away. This isn't just a phrase, it's a ritual, a gateway opening for energy to flow, for old karma to be recognized and released. You don't have to fight the storm anymore. You were born to move through it like a child of the earth, of stability and transformation. Beyond that storm lies a gift. What you once mistook for punishment was actually preparation for a greater role. You were chosen. Taurus, you are the culmination of ancestors who lived in scarcity. And now you are the first to speak what they never dared to say. You carry within you a stream of memory that is not solely yours. The fears, the anxieties about security, the cracks in your heart, they didn't all begin with you. They came from those who walked before you, souls who lived and died in a silent struggle. You chose to be born to voice their truths, not because you wanted to be strong, but because you are steadfast enough to feel the collapse that was buried long ago. You do not live only for the present, you walk through lifetimes, carrying both the light and shadow of the past. You once asked, "Why am I so worried about security? Why do I feel the weight of others' burdens as my own?" Because you were chosen to do something no one else can. The ability to heal by creating a foundation of safety and stability. Your mere presence can bring a sense of safety to a stranger, allowing them to release their burdens without a word spoken. You can pass through a space and leave behind a feeling of peace, a miracle of stability. Do not misunderstand. You are not weak. You were simply never taught to see your need for security as a gift. No one can be more authentic than you. Taurus, once you stop fearing instability, now, destiny comes to return the power you once lost. Here's the truth: you were never abandoned. You are being guided back to the place where your soul truly belongs, a place reserved for those who have been broken. You once bowed your head for responsibility. Now, the universe asks you to lift it high. You are the first in your lineage to choose to end the cycle of anxiety and begin the cycle of prosperity. This path isn't easy, but it's yours to walk. Write this down: I am the first in my lineage chosen to heal. This statement is not just a confirmation. It's a key that activates an ancient promise between you and the universe. You will no longer hide. You are being invited to receive. What you are about to gain won't come from logic or formulas. It will emerge from the very ground where you once lost yourself. You will reclaim love, prosperity, and self-worth, three core energies that will shift powerfully the moment you declare, "I am ready." These aren't ordinary gifts. They are the treasures that have always awaited you, surfacing only when you stop abandoning yourself. They don't come through desperation. They arrive when you become still, when your heart opens to the light. The first gift is true love, a love that will never ask you to pretend to be strong. True wealth will never demand you to sacrifice your soul. Taurus, you have loved deeply, even with parts of yourself that were never fully healed. You believed that if you were good enough, dependable enough, and solid enough, then love would stay. But sometimes, your strength was mistaken for a lack of feeling, and those you cherished were the first to leave. You don't love like others. You love like an old soul, a heart that holds memories from many lives, layers of feeling, and wounds that never had a name. When you love, you give your trust, your hope, your presence, your light, and even the shadows you've kept hidden. You don't love to be loved in return. You love as a sacred commitment, and that makes you divine, yet sometimes deeply wounded. You used to hide your feelings, fearing that no one would understand your complexities. You pretended to be okay, afraid that revealing your true self would drive people away. You forced your heart to be resilient when all it wanted was to rest. But the true love that the universe has reserved for you does not demand that you be an unshakable rock. It doesn't ask you to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's perception. This love will arrive softly, as gentle as a spring breeze, yet as strong as the foundations you build. They won't come to fix you. They will come because you have healed enough to recognize them, not through fear, but through the quiet of a soul already illuminated. This love is not a reward. It is a recognition of your worthiness. You may have experienced relationships where you gave too much, carried too much, and ultimately were left behind. But now, your soul has shifted. You are no longer in the lower realms of love. You don't love out of fear of loss or to fill an emptiness. You love as a resonance, a doorway opened between two worlds. Dear Taurus, the love you've been waiting for won't come while you're still trying to prove your worth. It arrives when you stop searching and become fully yourself. Nothing more, nothing less. They will recognize you not by your appearance, but by the frequency you emit, by the eyes that hold an ocean of emotion, by the silence where an entire universe whispers that you are worthy just as you are. Are you ready to love without hiding? No more concealing your exhaustion. No more hiding your past. No more denying your desire to be loved wholly, not because you've earned it, but simply because you exist. This love doesn't come to fill a void. It comes to co-create a world where you no longer have to be strong just to survive. If your soul feels called, it's not a delusion. It is destiny coming to collect. You cannot hide from true love because this time you don't have to earn it. You simply need to be yourself and open your heart at the right moment. Write this down. I am ready to love without pretending to be strong anymore. Your comment is a marker of energy, a doorway swinging open for that soul to find you not early, not late, but precisely when you welcome the light within. Beyond that love, 2 more gifts await you: the sacred flow of money and limitless self-worth. They will come the moment you stop doubting and start believing. The second gift, the sacred flow of money, is about understanding your value. Taurus, you weren't born to be bound by financial struggles, nor were you meant to live in lack. You were born to learn that money is not the enemy of the soul, it is the companion of light. Wealth doesn't come to make you better. It comes so you don't have to trade your soul for a life that reflects your true self. You may have turned away from money, believing that wanting more was wrong or that abundance meant abandoning your spiritual path. But a healing soul cannot shine if it's constantly worried about bills. You need nourishment, material support, to give your light without losing yourself. Money is energy, and it flows toward kindness, integrity, creativity, and healing. You don't need to chase money, you just need to align with your soul, and it will find you. The universe rewards those who break free from the karma of fear and self-limitation. Taurus was not born to get rich. You were born to be divinely wealthy. You've heard phrases like, "You can't be wealthy if you're an artist," or "good people always struggle." But those beliefs are not yours. They are inherited karmic legacies. You are the first brave enough to stop repeating them. You don't have to choose between light and financial freedom. You can choose both. Taurus, you've given so much without receiving in return. You may have thought that was selflessness, but sometimes refusing to receive is a form of denying yourself. You can't radiate light if you're constantly living in the shadows of scarcity. Now, your financial energy is unlocking not through tricks or overexertion, but through harmony between soul and action, intuition and structure. The sacred flow of money doesn't come from chasing. It comes from pausing and declaring, "I am ready." Write this down. I am ready to receive money as a natural part of the light within me. Your comment activates a new financial current, a stream where you don't just receive, but also create value for others. When you begin to live in alignment with that, money becomes proof that you are fully living as the soul you were born to be. Destiny comes to collect, this time to return what the past denied you: prosperity, self-worth, and love. The spiritual gate swings wide open. You are Taurus, an earth sign that carries the lessons of endurance and creation. That's why you don't just feel, you build. Your self-worth is not a fleeting thought. It is the foundation of your soul, and it's returning clear, strong, and trustworthy. In the days ahead, you will witness sudden opportunities, gut feelings that guide your choices, voices rising from deep within. You are not imagining things, you are being activated. This is no accident. Your intuition is a message from a soul that has walked through fire and weathered storms, now urging you to live in your light. You've doubted yourself because you saw what others could not. You've stayed silent, fearing judgment for your steadfastness. But now, your stability transforms into your superpower. No longer a burden, it becomes your compass. You will read people by their energy, hear truths in silence, and move without logic because you feel what's right before your mind can explain. This isn't the first time you felt this way, but it is the first time you dare to live by it. Destiny comes to collect, not just for you, but through you, as your light radiates into the world. This is the moment your soul's purpose takes form. These gifts, love, wealth, self-worth, cannot be forced. They do not respond to demand. They arrive when you stop running, when you open, when you are still enough to declare, I don't need to hold everything. I just need to be honest with the light inside. Write this down. In the comments, I am ready to receive the gifts the universe has prepared for my soul. Choose one gift or all three, but write it as a vow to yourself. Taurus, you've walked a long journey. You've held the light in the dark, loved, lost, forgiven, and risen. Now, you are ready to live as the soul that was chosen. Share what you feel after this. Write it down, not just as a response, but as a ritual, a vow to your soul.